Hello and welcome. I'm Chrisanne and I'm coming at you from Elemental Energies with Chrisanne. And today we're going to be talking about a topic that's so much from the heart for me. I'm very passionate about it. We're going to be talking about the Akashic Records. What is the Akashic Records? This might be a phrase that you hear people talk about all the time. The Akashic Records, the Akashic Records, the Akashic Records. What is the Akashic Records? So in this free informational class that we're doing today, we're going to be talking about what is the Akashic Records? Why do you need it? Why do you need to get a reading in the Akashic Records? Why do you need to learn how to do readings in the Akashic Records? We're going to talk about all of that. I'm very passionate about the Akashic Records because I do readings in the Akashic Records. So welcome. This is the Akashic Records with Chrisanne, and we're going to be talking about mediumship and animal communication that's accessible here within the Akashic Records. So within the Akashic Records, what is it? The Akashic Records is a place that holds all your information. It's a place that holds all your soul's history, your soul's past lives within multiple lifetimes. So when we're saying, what is it that we can do in the Akashic Records? We can do some past life work from all of your past lives, all of your incarnations within this planet. And in more advanced classes, we can talk about other things. But also the way I do Akashic Records, which is very different than how other people do the Akashic Records. I also do mediumship in the Akashic Records. What is mediumship? Mediumship is when you speak to those that are on the other side, loved ones that have crossed over, whether it be family members, friends, different ones that have crossed on the other side. Now, let me give a little bit of a heads up. For those that are psychic mediums, your loved one has to have crossed a minimum of 3 months before you're able to communicate with them. I know many psychics say it has to be 6 months, some 9 months, and some won't even contact or attempt to contact your loved ones in a reading unless your loved one has been passed for at least a year. For me, I have found it to be the 3 to 6 month range seems to be a good range to be able to reach our loved ones on the other side. And why is that? Because people ask me that all the time, but why do I have to wait? Well, you have to wait because your loved one on the other side is getting accustomed to their new norm on the other side. And that takes time. Yes, time doesn't exist in the Akashic Records, but we need to be respectful. We need to be understanding that our loved ones now have a new norm. They have new jobs they need to do, new roles that they need to fulfill, new things that they need to do within their new existence. So we need to be respectful of that. So I always put that out there, and not everybody understands. And, I get it. If you lost somebody who's near and dear to your heart, whether it be a family member or a dear friend, a neighbor, whoever it is, we want to connect. On a human level, we want to connect through our grief to get answers, to find out what happened, to find out so many different things. But the deal is the deal. You have to wait a minimum of 3 to 6 months. And that's for me. Others have other stronger guidelines. And for those that have no guidelines, shame on you, because you're taking away from having your loved one get accustomed to where they are and what it is that they need to do. So that's one thing that I personally do and like to teach, and I access that through the Akashic Records. The other thing is I like to do animal communication, both living and deceased, in the Akashic Records. Now, can everybody do mediumship? Can everybody do animal communication? No, maybe you can do one and not the other one. It depends on what your psychic abilities are. It depends on what you are capable of. But just because you can do one and not the other one, hey, that's okay. That's you. You need to learn to recognize what your gifts are, own your gifts, and be able to share your gifts. And that's what I like to teach when I teach the Akashic Record class that I personally teach. The other thing that you can access through the Akashic Records is future lives. You not only can look at past lives and what happened in the past and what led to where we are now, but you can look at things in the future. Now, keep in mind that is a potential future, because just by merely discussing future events, you're already changing future events. If I tell you there's going to be a fork in the road and you need to go to the right, but you come to that fork in the road and you're like, no, I don't want to go down that road. That looks a little too scary. I want to take the road to the left. Okay, you just altered your future. But you know what? You have free will and you have the ability to do that. And I want you to have free will. I want you to have the ability to do that. By me telling you what I'm seeing, or by you doing a reading and seeing what the future possibilities hold, that's just it. It's a possibility. So you need to keep that in mind also. Other things that I like to do within the Akashic Records is connect with guides, connect with my guides, connect with your guides, connect with everybody's guides, connect with guides. So guides can be loved ones that we have that are on the other side. Guides can be those we've had past lives with. Guides can be animal spirit guides. They could be a dog that we had in our past. They could be birds. They could be llamas. They could be elephants. It could be horses. I see a ton of horses. They can see, they can be any incarnation. So guides don't just think of as having 2 legs. They can have 4 legs, or a centipede have lots of legs. So it goes back to, it depends on what your gifts, what your abilities are. The other thing that we can do in the Akashic Records is have connections with angels, which is really cool. It's really neat. So I will not get into what the angels look like, what the angels say, what form they take, but I'll just say they take many forms. And when you're able to access that and when you're able to see that, it's really cool, to say the least. It was a little like, wow. When I first started doing the Akashic Records, I was really kind of blown away because I was not seeing what the pictures and the paintings were depicting, which was neat, but that's my experience. Maybe you will have a different experience going forward. So it's always neat to see what is it that I do versus what is it that you do. But when I teach readings in the Akashic Records, I'm teaching based on what it is that I do, meaning I'm not only teaching how to access the Akashic Records, but I'm also teaching mediumship and animal communication in the records, because that's my thing. That's what I do. That happens to be my forte. And I don't see people teaching that. So I'm stepping up to the plate and I'm teaching my passions and my skills. So within this free class, it's talking about what are the possibilities for the Akashic Records. Why do we need this? What is it that it can bring to our lives? The simple answer is answers. As we are having a human experience here in this incarnation, we can't help but have lots of questions. Why? Why did this happen? Why didn't this happen? What is the purpose? Why am I here versus why am I not there, etc. And those are things that are easily accessed through the Akashic Records. Now, the Akashic Records is something that you access through your mind's eye, almost in like a meditative state. I'm not in a meditative state when I do it. Many are. Many go into a complete meditative state when they do the Akashic Records. I tell people I'm with you as much as I'm with you now. So just because I'm seeing what I'm seeing in my mind's eye, I'm still able to communicate and say what I'm seeing. Now, when I first started off, it was a little bit different. And I want everybody to experience their own thing. You know, when I first started doing the Akashic Records many moons ago, I would do automatic writing. So all my messages would come through in automatic writing. Well, I have problems with my hands. And I, it's a lot of writing. And it would go on for like 3 pages in my notebook till I finally said to my gods, enough is enough. I can't keep writing all of this. I need to just say it as I'm getting it. And so that's what I do now. So I will give you the skills on how I do these things and how I access the Akashic Records. The nitty gritty of it, that part's up to you. That part is how it works best for you. I will teach it with a lot of writing because there's power in writing. There's power in the words. There's power in that. Now, if you can't do the actual scribing with pen and paper, type it. I don't care. That's how you work. You do that. You do what works best for you. But I do teach it with writing in the beginning because I want you to get used to that. So don't worry if you're somebody that isn't a secretary and can't write down a ton of words all at once. Don't worry about that. I'm just worried about you getting the gist of it and getting the general feel of things. So people say to me, well, who are you talking to in the Akashic Records? So I'm talking to my guides, my animal spirit guides, my angels. I'm talking to your guides, your angels, your animal spirit guides. But I'm also talking to Archangel Metatron. Archangel Metatron is who governs and is in charge of the Akashic Records. So many view the Akashic Records differently. And we're going to talk about that in the actual workshop that I have put together. So we're not going to get into what it looks like because it looks like something different for everybody, which I love. I love that it's very different, but there's always a commonality thread, which is so cool. But Archangel Metatron is the one who's in charge of scribing everybody's information for their soul's history and past lives. And that's why we are able to access that information because it's governed by Archangel Metatron, who has that lovely role of sort of managing the Akashic Records. And to be able to access that information, to me, is such a really cool honor. I have always thought, wow, that's such a blessing and such a wonderful thing that I'm able to tap in and see that information, access that information to be able to give my clients a little bit of peace, a little bit of peace of mind, and a little more answers. So for me, it's always been an honor to be able to do this role. And that's why I like to share it. I have been a psychic my entire life. I have been talking to the dead since the age of 3, and I have been reading for other people since the age of 8. So I am born psychic. I've been doing this, I know no different, since basically day one, but I wasn't able to sort of put words to it until later. You know, as a 3-year-old, it's hard to say, yeah, I'm talking to all the dead relatives. You know, that even though in my family, because I'm from a long line of psychics, that would have been very accepted in my family. But that's beside the point. I know no different. I know no different than going to a funeral and they're all talking to me, the living and the deceased. So that's just how my life is. Psychic wise, I do turn it off because I need to sleep and it can be very overwhelming, to be honest. Doing the Akashic Records has given me an easier way of accessing things because I have a key to get into the records. And that's what I share when I do the workshop class. I have a key to get in the records and I have a key to get out of the records, meaning I'm opening the door for whoever I'm reading, whether it be myself or my client. I have a key to access the door to their records. When I'm done the reading, or when you're done the reading, you're going to close that door. So I have an opening statement and I have a closing statement. That has given me much more peace of mind and freedom, knowing that once the reading is done, that connection is severed, it is cut, that door is closed, and I am done and on to the next reading. I don't access somebody's records without their permission. Like, that is a huge no-no. That is massive. That I don't tap into other people. People tap into me. Like, I can't help it when I'm walking the grocery store and I can feel the energy of sadness from that person, joy from that person, despair from that person. You know, I can't help. I'm an empath too. You know, you can't help it. It's more than just a facial expression. You never go by facial expressions because you don't really know what's going on via facial expression, because they could be the best actor known, but underneath it all, there's a lot more going on. So don't ever go by facial expressions. Body posturing and things like that, sure, you can go by that. You can access information that way. I'm a sign language interpreter by trade. I'm taught to read facial expression and body posturing. That's part of interpreting. You know, you're leaning into somebody, you're talking to somebody, you're backing away, you're cutting that energy from somebody. You know, all of that is very interesting information to pick up on. But I don't like to pick up on anything. I don't tap in deeper than just what somebody's giving off. I don't tap in deeper to that. Number one, I don't have time. I don't have time or energy to tap into everybody's everything. Number two, it's rude. You know. Number three, it's exhausting. And number four, it's just not okay. When somebody walks past me in the grocery store, if I'm feeling that sense of despair, you can smile at somebody. You can say hi to somebody. And that might completely change their day. That's all it takes. They just need to be seen. That's it. That's it. I never go up to somebody and say, oh, your angel's contacted me and your grandmother is standing next to you and you now need a reading. Here's my card. It's going to cost you $1 gazillion. Oh, gosh, no. That's horrible. No, I don't even have the horrible words for the people that do that. And people do that online too. And let me tell you, a real psychic will never do that to you. I know some real psychics that do that, and I think it's terrible. And I tell them, here's the thing. I tell their guides, if they need a reading, bring them to me. My phone number is accessible. my website's accessible. You know, there's plenty of ways to reach me. Reach out on Facebook, reach out, I don't care. Do not ever go up to anybody, because you don't know what they're going through. They might be on the edge emotionally, and saying something like that could tip them over the edge even more. Or you don't know if their grandmother was a horrible, terrible person who was so mean to them, and by saying their grandmother's with them, that's horrible. No, don't ever do that, please. So, I talk about things like that in my classes that I teach. If you've taken classes with me before, I have a certain set of guidelines that I like to live my life by, whether it's a reading that I'm doing, or whether it's a Reiki class or doing Reiki. There are certain guidelines that I don't like to cross, and nor should I cross. And I tell my students that there's a way to conduct yourself, and then there's a way to conduct yourself. And when you take the higher road, you'll be fine. And I have found that to be the case, because if I'm dealing with angels and guides and animals, I'm dealing with pure spirits. So I need to make sure that I'm as pure, I know, as I can be. Go ahead, we can all laugh together. And what do I mean by that? Trust me, we all have faults. But what I mean by that is I don't drink caffeine. So when you're going to do the Akashic Records, caffeine will impede the reading. So I ask that people not have caffeine just before they take my workshop, because it will impede what you see and what you access in the Akashic Records. Also, medication. Now, I am not a doctor. I am not giving you medical advice. If you are on daily medication that you need for daily medical needs, you will continue to take that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about maybe cannabis medications, or CBD oil and things like that. Yes, I know a lot of people do that for pain management, but that can affect how you see and how you interact in the Akashic Records. Because I do animal communication, for quite a while I went completely vegan. I was vegan for like 9 months, and I found that my animal communication abilities even upped even more. Now, I'm pretty good with animal communication, but it was even more sharp. But let's face it, I I live with meat eaters, and I'm the one that has to do the cooking. So, we do what we do in life. So I eat meat, but I don't eat dairy or anything like that from allergies. But you gotta live your life the way you have to live your life, is my point. But I do say no alcohol, because that will absolutely impede what you are seeing. No caffeine if you can function. I mean, I'm not somebody that does caffeine. I'm not hooked on that. So I don't understand what people go through with the need for caffeine. I'm just saying it will affect your ability in the Akashic Records. I mean, if you're somebody that's drinking like 10 cups a day, okay, get it down to 1 or 2, and see if that helps, because people will say, well, how come I can't see things like this and this and this, like you can see? Number one, everybody has different abilities, so keep that in mind. And number two, I'll say, well, did you have caffeine? Did you smoke something you weren't supposed to be smoking? Because all those things really do affect. And I can tell you what they'll be seeing versus what they won't be seeing. It will look dark and black and almost like a gray fog if you have too much of those things in your system that will impede you from seeing what you possibly can be able to see. Now, I am not a doctor. I know caffeine is used for migraines and things like that. So I'm not talking about that. If you need that for that reason, prescribed by a doctor, please listen to your prescribing doctors. I'm not a medical practitioner, but I am saying coffee and even tea that has caffeine in it will impede your ability to see things in the Akashic Records. So I do ask that people not have alcohol. In fact, the psychic Colette Baron Reed will not read for people. And I forget how many days it is that you have to not have alcohol in your system, or she won't read for you because she's a recovering alcoholic. It's in her books. She talks about if you want a reading with her, you can't have alcohol in your system for X amount of days before your scheduled reading with her. So it's not just me making this up. There are other psychics that those substances will affect their reading. Even if you're not the one doing the reading, they're picking up on you, they're tapping in on you. And I can always tell when something's going a little on because I'm tapping into you as well. I don't have that level of need when I'm doing a reading for somebody. So, I mean, for me, that's fine. But I'm just saying for my students, for you as maybe you're a beginner, maybe you're not a beginner, maybe you're somebody that's been reading the Akashic Records for a while, but you've never done animal communication and mediumship in the Akashic Records. That's cool too. So my classes teach mediumship and animal communication, as well as the basics of accessing the Akashic Records. So I want you to have the best experience that you possibly can have. And I'm just saying, some of those things can impede your experiences. So just be mindful. It's okay to take prescribed things from your doctors, even if it's a naturopathic doctor. Doctor is a doctor. I don't care who prescribed it. If it's prescribed and you need it, it's a different story. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about recreational alcohol, caffeine, cannabis use is a big no-no when it comes to being able to see and access things in the Akashic Records. Because it's such a gift, it's such an honor to be able to access not only your records, but somebody else's Akashic Records. And you want to be able to clearly see, because if I'm training you to be the psychic and you're going to go on and do professional readings with the information that I'm giving you, which I hope you will, I want you to be able to access as much as you can possibly access for yourself and for your client. So just FYI about that. Now, the other thing is when I'm doing the records, I take it very seriously. Like I've been saying, it's an honor. But I'm reading for people, loved ones, who have passed. And my clients get very emotional. I always keep tissues. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm a safe place. And I want you to be a safe place to let that out. But when you first start reading the Akashic Records, you're reading for yourself. So it can be very emotional because maybe you're connecting with a grandparent that you haven't seen in 10 years. Or maybe you lost your mom when you were little and you're connecting with that person. We can't always call in a specific person. Sometimes we can, but we can't always call in a specific person. But who shows up is who shows up. And maybe they're not the person that you wanted to talk to. That in itself could be emotional. I'm the safe place for people to have emotions. And a friend of mine once told me, because I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad. Everybody's crying. Like, I feel so bad. Like, I want people to have a positive experience. And she looked me in the eye and she's like, if they're not crying with you, you're doing something wrong. I'm like, oh, you're right. Thank you. I needed to hear that in the moment. So I'm used to it. I always carry tissues for when I'm doing readings in person, which I haven't done in years. You know, I do everything via online means now, which is perfectly fine. I'm still able to access all that information, and I'm going to teach you that as well on how to do that. So it's not something that has to be done face to face in actual person, because I've been doing readings with people like on the radio. My fan is blowing. It's blowing my hair and it's making my face itchy. Sorry, I know I keep scratching at my face. Oh, and I'm wearing my broken glasses. Oh, that's wonderful. But anyway, you've probably been noticing this the whole time and I haven't even noticed. Yeah, I'm so focused on other things. Here, let me switch my broken glasses. Yes, I get focused on other things. Okay, there we go. Some days. So I'm very focused on the Akashic. So that's it. So it's okay to be emotional. It's okay to have emotions because we're having a human experience. You got to let it out. And crying a lot of times is a great way to let that out, decompress. And people always tell me that they feel better than when they came in after seeing me or having a reading with me. That's huge. That's huge. That's wonderful. That's an amazing compliment. And I'll take it. I'll definitely take it. So if you think this class is right for you, please check out my website because I have a 2-day workshop on my website on how to read the Akashic Records and do both mediumship and animal communication in the Akashic Records. So my website is www.elementalenерgieswithchrisanne.com, and you're going to see a slideshow that has all that. You're going to see a slide that's going to come up that has all of that information on my website, how to access it. And you've probably been watching this class via my website anyways. So check out that class that I have. I am going to be offering it once, maybe twice a year, depending on what the interest is. It is a full 2-day workshop. It takes place via Zoom, so you could be anywhere in the world and still connect to us. Just keep in mind that I am in the eastern part of the United States. So everything is from Eastern Standard Time zones of what the actual times are. So check that out. We will be taking a break for lunch. We will be taking little breaks to use the restroom, but it is a very hands-on class. We will be reading for ourselves. We will be reading for each other as well. It is hands-on because I want you to get in. I want you to access the Akashic Records. I want you to experience that. I want you to read for the other classmates in the class because they've got different experiences than you do. They have different guides, angels, animals that they connect with. And I want you to experience that. So during those 2 days, we will be learning to do animal communication and mediumship via the Akashic Records. For this class, I ask that you at least have experience doing at least one of those skills already. This might be a quote unquote beginner class that I'm teaching, but it's really not for beginners. It is for people that are already experiencing some form of mediumship whether you're a professional psychic or not. You don't have to be a professional psychic to already experience mediumship. You don't have to be a professional psychic to already be experiencing animal communication. You do not. You can be just leading your normal life, going to your 9 to 5 and doing this and not really knowing how it's happening. This might be the class for you, because you can learn to turn it on and turn it off via the key for the Akashic Records. But we're also going to be accessing even more information than just mediumship and animal communication, because we're going to be connecting with our angels, connecting with our guides, looking at past lives and how does that affect this life. You know, you may have had 32 past lives, but I don't go back to the most recent past life. They always show me the most important past life to what you're experiencing right now. So it could be life number 14, and I'm going to show you how to be an evidential medium by giving evidence. What is it that you're seeing? Are you smelling? Are you feeling? What are the clairs that all get clairsentient, there's all the different clairs. We talk about that in the class. And depending on what clairs are sort of lit up for you is the type of psychic that you are. Do you taste? Do you smell? Do you feel? Do you see? You know, all of those different things become part of the evidence that you give your client that you're reading for. So I teach you how to recognize those things. I teach you what to look for, how to categorize it. When I've been doing all of this stuff since the age of 3, I didn't know it all had names. I had no idea that talking to dead people was called a medium. I didn't know that till well into my mid-20s. I'm just doing it. And, you know, I had already been working as a psychic for years. At that point, you know, people would hire me to come in and read at parties or private readings. You know, it was a thing I was doing. It was just me. I'm just me. This is just what I do. I didn't know it all had names. I didn't know it all had categories that it fit into. And once I learned that, I was like, okay. For me personally, I have all the clairs, all of them. But maybe you don't, and that's okay. You're 2 out of the 5, 7, whatever it is, checklist can still work for you. You need to take what your abilities are and make those work for you. And that's what I'm going to be working on in the class, to expand upon what your gifts and your skills are, to be able to have that be even a bigger, broader type of experience that you can share with yourself and with your clients or with your loved ones or whoever it is that you choose to share it with. You don't have to go on to be a professional psychic. You can. I mean, I'm giving you the tips to be able to do it. Now, you don't just take my 2-day workshop and then go and all of a sudden put your shingle out as a psychic. You're gonna have to do a lot of practices on people, readings. I ask that it be at least 13 practices that you do for friends, loved ones, whoever. And those practices, you don't charge for those because you are practicing. Just like if you are a Reiki student, you are practicing. You have to practice on X amount of students before you feel a little more confident in your skills. Okay, so just keep that in mind. You know, 13 could be a very daunting number, but if you're having problems finding 13, call me, correct on me. So, you know, we're going to make it work. We'll work together. I don't just teach the class and say, go off into the world. With my classes, you can contact me if you have questions. I have students that will contact me 10 years later and say, listen, I want to share this amazing experience with you. I need a little more insight. Can you help me? Of course I can. That's what I do for my students. I don't care whether I have 2 students in the class or I have 202 students in the class. Not everybody's going to reach out to me. That's your choice. But I'm here because I know I always have questions as well. Like, there are times I'm like, holy crap, that was an amazing experience. You're not going to believe what happened to me. And I have my friends that are in the same field that I am, that we bounce off these experiences with. So I can be that for you when you take my classes. Now, there is a limit. I tell people, don't text me at 1:30 in the morning saying you've had an amazing experience, because I'm sleeping or attempting to sleep. And I have had that. There are rules. There are guidelines. You can contact me. We can set up a time where we can talk. And, I'm not charging you for that. We can have a phone conversation. We can text. But please respect my time having a human experience as well. And obviously I have to say that because it has happened. And that's okay. It's life. We all get excited about things and we all want to share things. I get it. Hey, I'm the same way. I get it. But please be mindful of my life too. But when you take a class with me, it's not just, hi, nice to meet you. Bye. Okay. Have fun in the world. No. I am available if you have a simple question like, what was this? Or can you help me understand this? Or wow, I had this really cool experience. Or okay, I'm having a block. What do you suggest? I'm okay with those questions because I want you to be successful. I want you to be your highest and best good. So check out my website if you're interested in taking my Akashic Records class. It's a workshop. It's a 2-day workshop over a Saturday and a Sunday. And it's on my website, www.elementalenерgieswithchrisanne.com. And you can take my 2-day workshop in 2023. It's being offered in August. So check that out. But if you are watching this beyond 2023, look and see what it will be on my website, because on my website is a whole host of classes. Some you have to attend in person, not in person, but via Zoom. Some you have to be live on Zoom, and other classes that are on my website, you can just purchase the class and watch it at your leisure. There is no interaction. So I offer both. For this particular Zoom class with the Akashic Records and learning mediumship and animal communication, that will be recorded. So just know I will ask you to sign a release. So just FYI, that will be a recorded class because that will be available in future for other people to take. It is a certificate class saying that you are certified, that you have completed the class and you have done the readings. If you are taking it by watching it, purchasing the replay and learning the class that way, it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to work up different guidelines for that. But if you are participating in the Zoom, that is a certified class, just so you know. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your interest in the Akashic Records. And I hope to see you all joining me on my weekend workshops on mediumship and animal communication in the Akashic Records. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. I'm Chrisanne. Be free.